Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy AG here. Hope you guys all enjoyed your holidays if you celebrate them. Today, we've got a good chunk of Nintendo Switch news here to cover. So some of you may already know, but a day ago, the Nintendo Switch subreddit hosted an AMA with game critic / leaker, Laura Catedale. The AMA ran for about 2 hours, I believe, and yielded a bunch of interesting information ranging from the Nintendo Switch itself, January Switch conference, Mother 3, Monolith Soft's new game, and more. In those 2 hours though, Miss Catedale answered tons of questions, so being the good Samaritan that I am, I went in and compiled all the new and interesting details from it for you guys to easily consume. You're welcome. Though like Laura Catedale says herself, take these bits of information with a grain of salt. It's not uncommon for leakers to get out of date info or minor details wrong. So with that, let's just dive right into the information, and what better place to start with than details regarding the Switch itself. The first bit of details we have here are from a Reddit user asking Catedale to rate her confidence on the fond statements coming to fruition. For the sake of time and the video, I'll be summing up her responses, and will more than likely be doing this for the rest of the questions and answers that are on the more lengthy side. So going down the numbered responses, Laura thinks that Nintendo Switch will drop March 17th for the UK, which is around South by Southwest week, I think. The Nintendo Switch will either be or have a SKU that is priced at or under $300. This is touched on again in another question she answered, saying $250 is the price point that she's heard from her sources. The first retail version of the Switch will have a minimum of 32GB storage. At launch, she suspects that there's going to be 3 third-party exclusive titles, but can't guarantee that they will be good. Rabbids RPG being one of them, and also having been leaked before. No news so far about 4G capabilities for the Switch. She suspects that with the settings set to low, the Switch's battery life can exceed 3 hours in portable mode. We'll hear another question about the Switch's battery life, later by the way. She knows nothing on Retro Studios' new project besides it not being a Metroid game, which she states answering another question. I guess my dreams of a new Metroid title is soundly crushed. Lastly, she states that the Virtual Console library is gonna 100% disappoint folks in terms of the amount of titles. That was quite a bit of an info dump, and that was just one of the first responses she made during her AMA. Hearing once again that there's no Metroid game in the works is a bit disheartening, but I'm sure myself and the rest of the Metroid faithful still have hope for a miracle. And don't get me started on the bit about the Rabbids RPG. Those dudes should just stay dead. Seriously, don't come back. Like ever. Bouncing back to Nintendo Switch's battery life though, here we see Catedale responding to a question regarding its length. The other questions aren't really important. Apparently she's heard of the Switch having a max of 3 hours battery life, but doesn't know if that's it running in fully clocked, or is using a portable clock speed. She's heard longer battery life estimates and suspects that 3 hours is the max if you run the Switch fully clocked, which dev kits can do. Also adding there will be similar levels of graphical sacrifice akin to a PC changing from ultra to high to medium graphical settings, referring to the varying clock speeds. I'm not sure what to make of this one, guys. Like, this is the first time I'm hearing about options to control clock speed outside of console mode, though that may just be for dev kits. The more I think about having the option to change whether you want the console to run fully clocked burning more battery life or not fully clocked to save life, the more I think it's a neat idea. You can't go wrong with options, right? But to keep in tune with the info about the Switch, here's a confirmation on the Switch being region free, which is pretty damn snazzy, might I add. I never personally understood the reason for region locking consoles. If anything, wouldn't making a console region free help sales of certain games? Maybe there's something I'm missing in regard to the whole region locking situation. Something more intricate and beyond my current understanding. But screw that, I want to play games without Nintendo's dumbass censorship. So I really hope that this bit about a region-free console is true. Oh yeah, we know that Catedale has heard seemingly conflicting things in regard to the GameCube Virtual Console, but the latest rumors state that it will be a thing within the first 3 months. I'm not too mad, personally I didn't expect anything Virtual Console related at launch. Now, as for Ethernet ports, it seems that dev kits have them, but actual models of the Switch don't. Perhaps we have to wait for the full reveal of the console for them to actually announce or show it, but worst case scenario is that we have to use the USB to Ethernet dongle again. Switch console docks. They won't be sold at launch but will be up for purchase later on down the line. Based on Catedale's sources, they will be affordable, and getting a couple for your home won't be too expensive. I actually never thought about having more than one dock per home. I'm pretty excited for this prospect. Having the ability to play a game in your room and then carrying said game into another room to resume on another TV sounds really cool. Definitely something I'll look into if it ever comes to fruition. Now I believe that's all the information we had in regards to the Switch itself. Let's dive into the details about January's Switch event and the games. So based on the contents of the event that Kate Dale knows about, she expects the January event to run 30 to 60 minutes in length, doubting they could fit everything solely into a 30-minute showing. Side note, as we can see here, the Switch can use up to 128GB SD cards from what she's heard from sources, and there aren't any reasons why larger cards shouldn't work either. Pretty good news, but I would have liked if the console held a little bit more storage on its own, instead of the 32GB. Back to talking about the January event though, I don't think any of us expected a super long blowout event similar to say an E3 conference. 60 minutes seems just right, and I doubt that 30 minutes would have been even close enough time to basically sell us on the idea of the Switch, which is what they're essentially planning to do here. In this section, Kate Dale goes on about how there's still a bunch of stuff that people don't know and will surprise them during the event that hasn't been spoiled or leaked, and compares the event to some of the better past Nintendo Directs. I for one never had my hopes too high for this event. I guess I've learned to tame my hype over the years, but I'm rather excited to see what these surprises are. As for the games we'll see at said event, she claims we can expect at least one new IP, but from the way she phrases it here, perhaps the scope isn't limited to just one new IP. After the booming success that was Splatoon, I could actually see Nintendo taking more of an initiative to develop new IPs, giving younger/newer devs a chance to show their chops. While on the topic of games that we'll see at the event, Kate Dale expects the new Mario title to show up, named and playable at the hands-on events that follow. Also expecting the game to be a day one title after hearing Mario for launch from multiple sources. Mario for launch seems like a pretty safe bet. Before, I fully expected Mario Kart 8's port/enhancement to be the Spotlight Mario title for the Switch's launch, but the more I brush it over in my head, I don't think a port would be the best thing to appeal to the masses at launch. I guess the question is now, is if the new Mario game is ready. I sure hope it is. Having a 3D Mario title at launch sounds pretty dang good, if you ask me. Speaking of ports though, here we get to know a little bit more about them. As Kate Dale states, the Mario Kart and Smash ports are enhanced versions instead of completely new games or direct ports as some speculated. And those ports, while enhanced, do vary in how extensive the enhancements are. For example, Mario Kart 8's port seems to have more changes while Smash ports seems to be more minimal. This could branch off into a whole nother topic for a whole nother video. But just to give my 2 cents now, I find it weird that if Nintendo were to have varying degrees in the amount of enhancement these ports were to get, wouldn't Smash be the more viable and lucrative option to push for? Stepping past that though, I noticed that Kate Dale didn't bring up Splatoon. Interesting. Could it be that the Splatoon we saw wasn't a port, but something akin to a sequel? Who knows? I'll talk more about all this in an upcoming video perhaps. Following all the talk about ports, let's look into something a bit more interesting. Monolith Soft wasn't a name I was expecting to see pop up in this AMA, simply because I thought it was a bit too early for them to have anything to leak, but I guess I was wrong. Here Kate Dale says she's heard of them working on something new that isn't a Xenoblade Chronicles X port. My condolences for those hoping for that. The only other info she had on the game was that its combat was in the same vein as Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles X. Could it be a new Xenoblade title? A man could dream. I'm not sure how to make heads or tails of it. Everything has the potential to be fake or false, like I warned earlier in this video. We never truly know the legitimacy of anything, but we can always stay hopeful. Speaking of staying hopeful, according to our sources, God, I wonder how many times I've said that this video, a CGI trailer about a minute long for Beyond Good and Evil 2 is supposedly in the works, but has no word of it being ready for the January event. She suspects it's not for the event, but counters that by saying she wouldn't know when else a 1-minute teaser would be shown. I'll leave that one up in the air. All I'll say now is that I'll believe it when I see it. I love Beyond Good and Evil way too much to allow myself to potentially get my hopes up just to get shot down again. Here we have a bit of uneasy info on Mother 3 depending on how you want to take it. Like another leaker, Emily Rogers, Kate Dale also hears a decent share of leaks in regards to Mother 3, from sources with good track records. Well, it must be legit, right? The game seems to never evolve from that of rumors. The way I'm seeing this is that either the game's port or whatever they're doing with it doesn't exist, or it's in development hell or something. Like, Mother 3 rumors have been swirling around for the longest, right? There must be some kind of truth to them. Maybe there's an issue regarding what Nintendo's doing with the title, or maybe they're just saving it for the right time. I don't know. But I doubt there's this many rumors for Mother 3 just for it to be nothing, right? But I think we'll cut it here. If you want to check out the AMA for yourself, the link is going to be down below. There are some minor stuff we didn't cover mainly because it was stuff we were more than likely already aware of, like the possibility of Zelda missing the Switch launch date. Anyways dudes, it's been real. I hope you dig the video, hope you subbed up if you liked it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay golden. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you look right above me, you can see 2 of my previous videos. So, if you feel like supporting your boy, feel free to check them out. It's okay, take your time. I'll just be right here when you're ready to watch them.